Am I the asshole for telling my daughter that life doesn't stop for others because hers isn't going well? I have 3 kids, and my daughter hasn't had the best luck in her romantic life. She's gotten cheated on many times, and her previous relationship were unhealthy. I also believe she's in a toxic relationship with her current boyfriend. My nieces and nephews, along with my other kids, are all happily married, some starting their own families. It was my sister's birthday recently, and she and her husband had planned the trip for the family. She helped with expenses if needed, but for the most part everyone paid for themselves. My daughter was the only one going by herself. We did things as family, but there were times when we split up to do something with just our partners. So sometimes my daughter was by herself or basically being a third wheel. At the end of the trip, my daughter complained to me how she hated going on the trip, that she felt like it was a cruel joke that she was there by herself, and that the others should not have shown affection to their partners when she was around. This is not the first time she complained about something like this. She's done it after holidays and birthdays as well. I'll admit I'm tired of my daughter complaining about this. So I told her that just because her life isn't going well doesn't mean others will stop living theirs. She hasn't talked to me since, and that was almost 2 weeks ago. My husband is on my side, but I'm worried I'll lose my daughter. Am I the asshole? Edit: she was allowed to bring a friend. Edit: 2 my daughter isn't single, she has a BF. Info: was she invited to bring a friend or a one along? I don't have a lot of sympathy for her demanding people not showing any affection for each other in her presence. And a lot of what you say is valid. However, I don't understand how, on a family vacation, all the couples are going off and leaving her all on her own. That sounds wretched, and I can empathize with how sad it is to watch everyone else be stable and happy when that's not at all available to you. You could acknowledge the validity of her feelings while encouraging her to accept the right of others to be happy. Info: what has led to this pattern in her life of choosing cheaters and toxic relationships? Being single doesn't mean her life isn't going well. The family trip should be accommodating for everyone no matter their relationship status. You're the asshole for this. There were times when we split up to do something with just our partners. So sometimes my daughter was by herself or basically being a third wheel. In my family, there are many single adults. We would never break it up so that all the partners were together and the single adults left to their own. We wouldn't do it no matter how many single people were there, much less if there were just one single person. Family gatherings are just that. You can all break up to do things with only your partners any other time. Not the asshole. This sounds like a normal family trip to me. Everyone has different interests, so it's natural to do some separate activities as a couple. Yeah, it sucks to watch happy couples going separate ways when you're there alone. But there are tons of things for single travelers to do on their own. She could have read a book in her hotel room or explored on her own if she didn't want to be a third wheel. She's 27, not 12. She didn't need constant supervision. And it's ridiculous to expect couples to show no affection simply because one person was alone. How many couples were on the trip? So sometimes my daughter was by herself or basically being a third wheel. Why would you plan couple activities on the trip if not everyone was in a couple? She's 27, for crying out loud. Still pretty young. Her complaining about people showing affection is ridiculous. But have you stopped to think about how she might have felt on this trip? You do not seem to have empathy for your own daughter. Have you tried to help her make better choices to avoid toxic relationships or to improve her self-worth? While your daughter doesn't have a right to demand that couples don't show affection for each other. Based on what you wrote, I can understand where she is coming from. You called your own daughter a third wheel. My parents would never have treated me this way. They did not always approve of my romantic choices when I was younger. But they always tried for me to see my own worth and never just wrote me off. Not the asshole. Ugh. My sister is like this. I can't do things with my husband or kids or friends because she has none. I get sarcastic comments like it must be nice. Your daughter shouldn't have gone. Or gone and tried to have fun, and she needs to stop feeling sorry for herself. Not the asshole. But why didn't her boyfriend come along? Why was his lack of presence everyone else's eggshells to walk on? Esh. You are right. Your lives don't have to be shitty while hers is, and I agree she is a brat regarding this. But you guys basically cutting her out on a family trip is also very shitty. Asshole? No. Tactless? Yeah. Not the asshole. She chose to come alone when, as per OP in the comments post, she had a boyfriend and had the option of bringing him or someone else as a one. Additionally, it was your sister's birthday trip, not a family vacation. Your sister planned her birthday trip and kindly included the family. So the main purpose was her birthday and not a family trip. Plus, I believe it's very normal to break off and do your own thing even on family vacations. That's what me and my family do, and we aren't all couples too. Info. Everyone else brought their partner and you said your daughter has a boyfriend. One you may think is toxic, but a boyfriend nonetheless. So, why was she alone on the trip? Your sister was paying for people who couldn't afford it otherwise, so finances can't be the reason. Why didn't he join you all? Not the asshole. Having fun is a choice. If I were in her shoes, I would have found something fun to do on my own while the couples were out. I'm 32. And I've been single for 5 years. All my friends are in relationships or married. You learn to have fun anyway. And learn to be your own best friend. I don't think what you said sounded like a truth she didn't want to hear. Hopefully she will go to therapy someday. Not saying there's anything wrong with her, just that everyone should go to therapy. And I started going around her age and it helped my attitude towards things a ton. IDK. I was with you until you said you planned a family trip, but left her by herself or made her feel like a third, fifth, whatever wheel. You can't be surprised to hear she didn't enjoy herself on a trip she was all but forgotten about. For a portion of it, it's not like we're exactly in the safest era for a woman to travel in a new city alone. Info. You say my nieces and nephews, along with my other kids, are all happily married. Did you expect your daughter to be married, settled down by now? 27 is still very young. Your daughter needs to learn to be alone and be happy before she gets into another relationship. Sounds like she desperately jumps into relationships to avoid being alone. I find this very sad. You're the asshole. How about I can understand why you feel that way. And I'm so sorry. Why does your generation legitimately only believe in belittling other people's feelings? Why can't you all just validate people? It's getting old. No wonder so many are alienating their aging parents who have never once shown them empathy. You're the asshole. If it's a family trip, why would you make her feel secluded in certain activities? Not the asshole. If the truth makes you lose her, you never had her. Not the asshole. I think she's at the age where she should be able to entertain herself for a couple of hours alone. IDK. Why everyone is saying ESHYTA. Do family trips mean you have to stay the family 24/7? No. I went on a lot of family trips. We always get time alone sometimes. And I'm single too. I think she was being unreasonable. Not the asshole. She chose to go. Addressing her attitude was spot on. Thank you for parenting. not the asshole.